this might be my favorite episode of Cooking with Tea by far. Like, it's my birthday, eating my favorite cake, and that's the reason. It's my birthday and we're eating my favorite cake, duh. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Cooking with Tea. If you guys can't tell, it's a very special day. It's my birthday today. And today we're celebrating by making my favorite cake of all time, cookies and cream ice cream cake. Let's get into it. So, first things first, we want to prep our ice cream pan because we need to freeze it because we're layering things and we want to make sure that the ice cream sets on time. We're going to take our cake pan and we're going to take some plastic wrap. This is a major step right here. You want to make sure that you get the plastic wrap on the bottom and around the sides because we're going to pull the ice cream out later. So we're going to get plastic wrap in a 9-inch cake pan, which is what I'm using. So now that our cake pan has some plastic wrap, I'm going to add my ice cream. I love cookies and cream. It's my favorite flavor ice cream. I used to drink cookies and cream ice cream in my baby bottle. I've loved cookies and cream ice cream since I was a child. And I've actually had this cake every year for my birthday. But this is my first year making it with y'all, so I'm really excited. If I could get the plastic wrap off. Okay, guys. So we're gonna take some ice cream. I'm using 1.5 quarts of ice cream for this recipe, and we're just going to pop it into this pan with the plastic wrap. Kind of squeeze it all out. Smush it down. You can temp the ice cream. You want to make sure it's malleable when you do this, or else you're not going to be able to spread it into the pan. You want to make sure you can mold it into the cake pan because it needs to be the exact same circumference as the cake that we're going to bake. All right, so just push it down. Make sure that the plastic wrap is on the edges. Get into the corners of the pan. And then we're just going to smooth it out. You can use any kind of ice cream when making an ice cream cake, but there's nothing better than cookies and cream. Fun fact, I used to eat Oreo sundae every day after school. I used to make my mom take me to Baskin Robbins every single day, and I was like addicted to cookies and cream ice cream sundaes from there, and if I didn't go, I would cry. Seriously. Make sure it's nice and flat. Perfect, just like this. Super easy. Now we're gonna go ahead and pop this into the freezer to chill while we get the cake ready. So, pop this in the freezer. Okay, now we're gonna make some vanilla cake. I like vanilla cake because I think it complements the cookies and cream perfectly. So we're gonna get our stand mixer ready. I'm gonna be adding in some sugar and some melted butter. I'm gonna go ahead and cream this up. Now I'm adding in some sour cream into the cake batter, which is gonna help keep it nice and moist. Sour cream is a secret to a really moist and delicious cake. Turn it up a little bit. I like to use egg whites when I'm making vanilla cake because I like for the vanilla cake to be like nice and light, and I want it to look like a vanilla cake versus a yellow cake. So I'm gonna go ahead and pop this in. While that's mixing up, I'm gonna add in some baking powder and baking soda into my flour. Into the wet mixture, I'm gonna add in vanilla bean paste and some vanilla. Listen, I'm gonna get those vanilla beans up in here. Now I'm gonna add in some milk. Then we're going in, gonna turn it completely off while I add in the dry. I'm gonna do half at a time. Turn it back on just so that flour isn't flying everywhere. Turn it up just a bit. We're gonna go ahead and scrape the sides. Then add in the remaining flour. Go ahead and scrape it again. Make sure you're getting all of the dry incorporated with the wet. So we have our cake batter ready. I'm just going to spray our cake pan. A little spray, just so that it doesn't stick. Now we're gonna add in our cake batter. Go ahead and flatten this out a bit. Okay, now I'm gonna show you guys a trick to make sure you guys get a nice and even layer. Sometimes when you bake a cake, I don't know if this has happened to you, but it's like round in the middle and on the ends, it becomes shorter and it's just not flat and even. So by doing this trick, it kind of secures and gives you a little bit of insurance to make sure that your cake stays nice and flat. So you're gonna take a wet paper towel and you are going to wrap around the cake pan, just like this. Perfect. And pretty much we're gonna do the same thing with the foil. Make sure that you make enough foil to wrap around the cake pan. Just like this. You're gonna wrap it around the cake pan. Perfect. So what this does is pretty much just make sure that the cake comes out evenly and that the sides of the cake don't cook too much faster than the middle of the cake, because that's what happens. So the sides cook first and sometimes like it shrinks and then in the middle you have this dome and like it's just small. And we want to make sure all of the layers are even for this cake. So I'm gonna bake this for about 40 minutes. So when it comes to this ice cream cake, I love fudge and I love chocolate. So I'm gonna make a little layer of fudge in between the ice cream and the cake. So that's what we're getting into right now. So we're gonna go ahead and add in the butter, add in some cream. Gonna add some sugar in there, a little pinch of salt. And then we're gonna bring it to a boil before adding in our chocolate and our cocoa powder. Can't have ice cream cake without a little fudge. Fudge is where it's happening, all right? Okay, so vanilla cake, chocolate fudge, Oreos, cookies and cream ice cream. Doesn't get any better. This is the perfect way to celebrate my birthday. You wanna make sure that the sugar is getting nice and dissolved. Heck yeah. Hot and so hot and hot. No, it's really hot, y'all. I'm sweating. So while we're waiting for the cream, sugar, and butter to get hot for the fudge, we can start by prepping our Oreos. I'm gonna set aside about 2, 4, 6, 8 Oreos because we're getting 8 slices of cake. Each slice gets an Oreo. So they say that Oreo is milk's favorite cookie, but I think Oreo is ice cream's favorite cookie. Name a better ice cream flavor. So we're gonna have Oreos on the top of the cake, but we're also gonna have some Oreo crumbs around the cake because we're going Oreo crazy. So I'm adding in the Oreos to a bag. If you guys have a food processor at home, you can totally use that as well. Now I'm gonna take a rolling pin, just beat the Oreos up a bit. Mom, do you remember that one time I auditioned for an Oreo commercial? An Oreo commercial as a kid? That's how much I love Oreos. I wanted to be the spokesperson for Oreos. I bombed that audition. So hopefully this is like my comeback. I'm gonna tag Oreo in this. I'm gonna beat this up a bit. So we got our crushed Oreos. Perfection. Going back into the bowl for later. I hear some bubbles. Ooh, it's bubbling. Literally. So as you can see, it's getting a little thick. Perfect. Now I'm gonna add in our chocolate. Turn it down a bit. Chocolate burns really, really fast, so I'm just gonna turn it down. Melt that chocolate up. Yum. Now that the chocolate is nice and melted, we're going to sprinkle in some cocoa powder. Give that a little whisk. You want to make sure you're whisking really nicely because you don't want any clumps of cocoa powder. Okay, smells divine. Smells like chocolate. So you want to make sure you cool your fudge before building your cake because this is hot. Then you have the ice cream. You want to make sure that everything is nice and cool. So I'm going to set this aside for now. So our vanilla cake is out of the oven and ready to go. As you can see, it's pretty flat. Looks pretty great. So we're going to put our cake on our decorating spinner, our cake spin. And then we're gonna add a little bit of that fudge, just a little bit. See how that gets us. Just like an even layer. Fudge. I'm gonna go a little bit more. Might as well. Like I said, you wanna make sure that the cake has to be cool and fudge has to be cool, or else it's gonna just run right off the cake and get all over the place. It's gonna be a mess. Now that we have a nice flat layer, we're going to take some crushed Oreos, add that right onto the fudge. You just wanna make sure it's a nice even layer of Oreos. Just like this. Perfection. We're gonna make the whipped cream for the outside of the cake. Gonna go ahead and pour the whipped cream into the standing mixer. Okay. Add in a little bit of powdered sugar. Powdered sugar is for sweetness and it's gonna help stabilize the whipped cream. Gonna go ahead and whisk that up. Gonna add in a little pinch of salt. And a little vanilla. So you want to make sure you guys get some beautiful stiff peaks, just like this. You want to make sure that whipped cream is stiff because we're coating the cake with it. You don't want it to be slipping all over the place. Don't catch me slipping. I don't even know what you're talking about. What are you talking about? I'm never caught slipping. I'm always on my 10 toes. I'm grounded. You ain't gonna catch me slipping. All right, so we're building it. Let's go. All right, party people, for the moment of truth, let's get this layer of ice cream right on top of that cake. So I'm gonna take the ice cream, pop it right on top, just like that. All right, y'all. Got the whipped cream going in the piping bag. I'm working so fast right now. It's the middle of the summer, ovens are on, and it's 500 degrees. And so we're gonna get that whipped cream all around the ends. You wanna make sure you're going like, you know, like this. We're gonna smooth it all out eventually, so don't even trip about what it looks like right now. You just wanna make sure you're getting a nice layer of whipped cream. Now we're gonna go around the cake. You wanna make sure you get really into that middle part where the fudge and the cake meet, and then all around. Now we gotta get this whipped cream nice and flat, all the way around the top, and then along the edges as well. So you can totally make like more of like a naked style cake when it comes to this, if you'd like to, especially because we're gonna have the fudge on top. We're gonna have the Oreos all around the sides of it. And naked cakes are a vibe too. If it helps, you can do one layer of whipped cream, put it in the freezer, and then add another layer. Just so that it's nice and stable. So yeah, you just wanna pretty much clean up the edges. And yeah, I'm gonna swap this cake out. It's freaking melting. That's what's going down on IRL, all right? Shoot, I gotta keep it real with y'all. It's way too hot in here. Can we put this in the freezer? Ta-da! Okay, our cake is out of the freezer and ready for fudge. So, I'm gonna go ahead and add some fudge, add a little bit of chocolate, or a lot of it, live your best life. Same situation, you wanna make sure it's nice and flat. We could go a lot of it. Perfect. Just until it starts to drip down the sides. Listen, all right, I just gotta keep it real. I'm no pastry chef. One thing I do know how to make is a dang good ice cream cake. Okay, we're rustic right now, but she's about to be fire. Actually, guys, what am I doing? Might as well just add all the chocolate. Now that we got a layer of fudge on the top, we're gonna take our Oreo cookie crumbs and make a mess, because it wouldn't be cooking with tea if we didn't make a little mess. Everybody deserves to get a little messy on their birthday, if you know what I mean. We're gonna stick the Oreos on the side of the cake. Yum. It's going down. Tell me that doesn't look great. Then do this. Get all the Oreos back into the bowl and back onto the cake. You know what, we gotta keep it real. Not everything's always gonna be spick and span clean, all right? It's just for TV. I'll show y'all how we really give it up. All right, so we got some cookie crumbs on the side. A little bit more whipped cream. So we're doing this just so that the Oreos have a place to live. Little Oreos. And I mean, yes or yes? And then one for me. Lovely. Get into my Oreo cake. I'm happy right now. Candle action. A few candles. You know what's like the worst thing? When it's your birthday and they're lighting the candles and the candles won't stay lit. Like, that's not a vibe. Ooh, it's a vibe. For the best part now, cutting the cake. So, let's take these candles out. Y'all be reusing candles? Because I swear, like, there was a period of my life where, like, we had every single number in the kitchen drawer, just in case we had to reuse the birthday candles. For the moment of truth, cutting the birthday cake. Yeah, look at that. That looks like glorious. Woo! Look at this. My inner child is screaming. I mean, cake, ice cream, chocolate, vanilla. Look at that. This is so good. This is way too good. So good. 10 out of 10. This is heavenly. Doesn't get any better than this. This is probably the best ice cream cake I've ever had. Seriously. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to my birthday episode with me. This ice cream cookie cake. It's absolutely delicious. Make sure you guys get into it. Recipe down below in the deeds. And until next time, peace, love, and blessings. All right. I could eat that whole slice. I eat anything all day, but that is what I'm gonna eat.